Welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in today, and welcome to Qande Unplugged, where we dive deep into journeys, challenges, and triumphs that shape our lives. I am your host, Nyakiringa, Nganga, and it's my pleasure to guide you through real stories and powerful insights that help us navigate the ups and downs of life. Today, we have an extraordinary episode featuring the inspiring journey of one lovely lady called Jeniffer Makau. Jennifer is not only the founder and director of Revitalise Minds, but she's also a mental health organization focused on resilience and well being. But she's also a community leader, an asset based community development builder, a content creator, and the chairperson of the Kikwetu Kenyan Community Group in Leeds. And today in our conversation, we'll cover Jennifer's story, her motivations, and what propels her forward. We'll explore what keeps her going, her sources of inspiration, and the positive impact she's creating in her community and beyond. So, Jennifer, welcome to Qande Unplugged. We are thrilled to have you here. Karibu sana. So, let's start with who is Jennifer?
First of all, I want to say thank you so much, Joyce. And today, allow me to call you Joyce because if I go for Nyakiringa Nganga, I might mess up everything. So, so audience, forgive us and forgive me in particular. So, thank you so much for having me on your platform. I don't take it for granted. And yes, I'm happy to just explore this conversation with you. So, as you've heard, I'm Jeniffer Makau and the founder and director of Revitalise Minds. So, you've asked me what inspired me to start Revitalise Minds. So, let me take you back so that you understand my journey. Um, I've always been passionate about mental health and well-being, but I didn't really know that I was passionate about that. So my undergrad, I did public health, but where I did it from Uganda, and they called it community health, but it is still one and the same thing. And as I was doing all this, later I came to the UK to master it, and I did a master's in epidemiology and biostatistics. But as I was
Wow.
doing my master's, I just realized whatever our view of mental health in Africa and the view of mental health in the West is really like worlds apart. And
Mhm.
I'm getting concerned about the issues that in Africa we just take them as normal or even overlook them. For example, somebody just saying, I'm struggling with my mental health, and we're thinking like, hey,
Yeah,
why? Why is it? You should style up. Something is really wrong with you.
yeah,
And so those are some of the things that led me to that journey. But also, while I was doing my now master's in the UK and then getting to the end of my master's, I was, like you want to go back home, you want to stay in the UK,
yeah,
but you're not sure even how to stay. So at
yeah.
that time, back in the time, there was a visa called a graduate entrepreneur visa. And
Okay.
so that was the visa I transitioned on. And transitioning on this visa, you needed to be endorsed. You had
Yeah.
to start a business and be endorsed by an endorsing body. For me, I was endorsed by the Leeds University because it was the university that I did my master's at.
Yeah.
And so, and for you to be endorsed for a business, that
Mm.
business had to be new, it had to be scalable, and it had to be something that uh, is really going to change, uh, affect the wider community in a positive way. And therefore,
Yeah.
my pitching for mental health and going on this journey, that is how even now my journey ended up. So I needed also to stay in the UK. I had a good idea, and definitely I
Mm.
didn't to stay in the UK, just doing something I'm not passionate about. So mental health and well-being was something I was passionate about.
Yeah.
Also, well, I was also coming to the end of my whole master's, and to graduate, I worked in a care home.
Yeah.
And this is
Okay.
a place where my desire to go the mental health way was really
Yeah.
cemented. So you can imagine my experiences in Africa, how we view mental
Yeah.
health. I've come to the UK, I'm doing a health related course. But then I've also
Yeah.
gone to in a care home, and where I realized care is very different. Remember, in Africa, most of us, that is, if you're coming from Africa, most of us, we take care of our sick, elderly, and
Yeah.
young children in the social
Yeah.
setting of our home and of the community. But in the UK, it is different most of the
Yeah.
time. Social setting
Mm.
ends up being a care home, especially if people are elderly and vulnerable. And
Yeah.
so while working in the care home, I was like, something is missing because, to be honest, UK is a very individualistic society. So people live by themselves, very independent, unlike in Africa where we are very social and communal.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
so I wanted to merge the communal side and the
Yeah.
individualistic side, because when people are elderly and in a care home, one of the things I noticed, and after I did my research, a well-documented research, because I couldn't have gone to get
Yeah.
endorsed without having the proper research. So the research
Yeah.
showed that people are very lonely in the care homes,
Yeah.
and that loneliness, what can help them? It is that social bit of it, and that's how
Yeah.
Revitalise Minds was born, to help people with their
Okay.
mental health and well-being using social activities. Yeah, that's how my journey began.
Okay.
Sorry, it's a long
Wow.
story.
That's impressive. That's very impressive. That's what sense. So let's go back a little bit. We'll just do a little bit of backtracking. So let's
Okay.
start with where did you grow up? In let's go with that one.
So I am a very bona fide Kenyan, pure
Yeah.
Kenyan. So I was born in Kenya.
Yeah.
My two parents, Dr. Stephen Kanya Makau and Makau Kanya, sorry, and Eve Mutio Kanya. So those are my
Yeah.
parents. So by so say, you can tell where I come from. I come from, yeah, Machakos, and
Yeah.
I grew up in different places because growing up, my mom was a teacher, my dad was a veterinary doctor. So we
Yeah.
started our journey when I came to know myself, I found myself we were living in Embu.
Okay.
Then to some time we moved from Embu, so I can speak some little Embu. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I can understand Embu, Kiembu. So we moved from Embu and we went to live somewhere in Loakabete because my dad was
Okay.
working for CAIS, the insemination station there.
Yeah.
Moved there,
Mm.
and then when we moved, I went back to Embu, but for schooling. I went to a boarding school in Embu. Then later I
Yeah.
went to boarding school in Tala Township, ended up in Machakos Girls and Matungulu Girls. Don't ask me why I was
Yeah.
in two high schools. Yeah, so that was my upbringing. I came from, I can't say, okay, normally people say a humble background. I don't know what a humble background generally is, but I could say I came from a privileged home. I would say that. Yeah,
Okay. Okay. All right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. At least now we know where you come from, because sometimes to know where you're going, you need to know where you're coming from, and it's good. It's good. All the trails are there right from the beginning of your mom and your dad.
Hmm.
Staying still with that era of your life.
Hmm.
Who was your hero growing up?
Growing up, did I really have a hero? Yeah, yeah. I remember growing up then.
Yeah.
If you remember very well, that's when Oprah Winfrey used to do her live shows.
Yes. Yes.
So she was a big name and a big shot then. So I
Yeah.
think for me, she was a big influence to my life
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I remember I watched most of her shows.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know what I really loved, the audience, the eloquence. But again, I don't know if people who of my era can remember. She used to, when guests would come, most of the time under the seats or somewhere, there used to be a gift
Yes.
for them to take away. Most of the times it could be a book or something. I think that I found very inspirational. And then also how she used to give very beautiful giveaways and stuff. So I
Mm.
think Oprah Winfrey has been for a long time.
Yeah, I think we all were. I think most of our people our age, we all used to watch Oprah Winfrey.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, some of us up until maybe a few years ago, then we stopped. Right. So, and when you were in Kenya, what were your expectations? What were your dreams? What were you expecting to find in the UK?
Before I came to the UK.
Yeah.
So I think growing up is an ordinary Kenyan, because for me, I've grown up and I've experienced, I would say I've had an all-rounded life. I've said I've grown up in privilege, but I've lived like, I know what it is to live a village life because I was exposed to
Yeah.
that. I know what it
Mm,
means to go to the wells, carry water on your back. I know how
yeah.
to strap a donkey to carry water. I
Hey,
know
a
how to,
donkey.
yes, clearly I know, because we used to have a donkey called Kangede. I don't know why the name was Kangede, but we had a god donkey that used to be called Kangede. And
Ah,
yes, so because imagine a wheelbarrow, I know all that,
yeah.
like village, like I know how to do. Forgive me, people, if you don't understand this language, but vitu zinaitwa do from pararo. You know how you'd go to the those streams in the village, and you just go
Yeah.
and dive into the water like a swimming pool. Yes. So I've done
Yes.
I've done all that. So I've really experienced a very holistic lifestyle. I know how to dig, like kulima, literally,
Yeah.
not the verbal
Mm.
saying. I know how to do it well and
Yeah.
to do.
With a hole. With a hole.
Yes, my dad is very big on that. So my dad really brought us up with that very well balanced lifestyle. So my biggest dream, I think, and it was what was modeled in the society then, was you
Yeah.
go to a good school,
Yeah.
finish with very high grades, get
Yeah.
this very well paying job, drive the
Yeah.
biggest car you can, live
Yeah.
in the biggest house, and be
Mm.
invited to every Harambe to give you big monies. I think that
Oh
was
yes.
my biggest dream.
I think we all went to we've all been down that dream.
Yes, that
Mm.
was that. The highlight of my life was, if I had that was life.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your life would be sorted. Yeah, I
yeah,
think we all had those ambitions and those dreams. Well, they're
yes.
not dead. It's still early. It
Oh,
never know it might happen.
yeah.
You got to be positive. Nothing is impossible.
Nothing is impossible. It's true. Yes.
So now, when you decided you were coming to the UK, what were the challenges you faced before while you were in Kenya before you came preparing to come to the UK?
So I faced a lot of challenges because uh, life took like some certain turns and twists.
Hmm.
So at some point in my life, I went to Dubai. Then
Hmm.
it didn't really work out. I came back to
Yeah,
Kenya. And then
yeah,
when I came back to Kenya, life was really, really hard. And now
yeah,
you've been in Dubai, you're working for yourself, you've been earning, and then
yeah.
you've come back to Kenya. Time is really tough. So
Mm,
when I went to Dubai, I had only done a diploma in graphics design.
okay.
And while I was in Dubai, I realized that if you do not have like education, like to a certain
Mm,
degree, maybe a degree education, a bachelor's degree, then you would
yeah,
really struggle like to go through the ranks in Dubai.
yeah. Mm,
So when I came back to Kenya from Dubai, I said to myself, I really need to prioritize going back to school. Because before I went to Dubai, I was thinking like, well, education is just a waste of time. As long as you have the skills and the knowledge, you can do
yeah,
business and make it in life. That
yeah,
was my thinking then. But when I went to Dubai, life, I got more exposed and realized, you cannot go with that mentality far enough in life. So
yeah,
you need papers to back you up, because skills and papers need to come together for you to really be able to scale.
yeah.
So when I came back to Kenya, things were not working out. I decided to go back to school because my dad was willing to pay. Why I hadn't done my
Good.
bachelor's after high school, I passed very well. I could have gone to university, but that mindset of
Yeah.
you can succeed. So my dad
Mm,
was like, if you go to school, I'm only going to pay if you do a health course or a teaching course. He was very
yeah.
particular on these two courses. And
Mm,
for me, I never wanted any of them. I wanted, if I'm
yeah.
going to school, go and study business. And the reason
Yeah.
why I wanted to study business is because I knew I did not need to work very hard or study very hard to pass. I would
Yeah.
pass easily. But for education, I was like, no, I don't want to be a teacher. Teachers are not well paid, so no. If I took a health course, then I need to really study hard. I need to really be disciplined, which I was not prepared
Yeah.
for. So
Yeah.
that is what made me not be in school for a very long time, because my dad was like, it's either this or I'm not paying. So
Yeah.
now I realize it's not working. I was like, Daddy, I'm ready to go to school. But then, and why my dad was telling me about education is because he had seen the two potentials that I had. He
Yeah.
knew I'd make a very good teacher, and he
Yeah.
knew also if I pursue anything else, I would really succeed in them, because
Yeah.
he knew my
Mm,
academic potential. So I
yeah.
was like, I want to go back to school. I want to do a health course, and that time public health was the in thing. A
Okay.
mentor, I spoke to my mentor. He gave me all the insights about public health. So that's how I went to
Yeah.
do it, and to do it in Uganda. Did it,
Mm-hmm.
finished, came back to Kenya. There were no jobs. So that's where the frustration starts. So when the
Yeah.
frustration started, I don't know what to do. So I went to work for a family friend somewhere in Yatta. So
Okay.
I worked there for about, I think, 5 months to 6 months. And
Yeah.
when I was there, I realized the way I was working, they were doing a lot of farming, and the farming was like, to, I don't know the best term to use, but it was like very sustainable farming, whereby Yatta is a very dry area. And then,
Yeah. Yeah.
so for you to be able to have produce year in, year out, you have to have a model of farming that was really working. And that place
Yeah.
was working. They had different models that really would work in very dry areas. But
Yeah.
alongside farming, there's something they were also doing. They were doing ornamental bird keeping. And
Okay.
this of ornamental bird keeping really attracted me. So I started doing that ornamental bird keeping, where I would buy some birds with the salary I'd get and keep them at my village home. And my goal and dream then was for me to have a small zoo of ornamental birds.
Yeah.
And so I started working my dream somehow.
Mm-hmm.
But these birds are very expensive to buy, very expensive to maintain.
Mm-hmm. What kind of birds are we talking about here?
So we are talking about the guinea fowls, we are talking about the geese, we're talking about the
Mm-hmm.
turkey, we're talking about the bantam, we're talking about the ostrich, which I hadn't kept the ostrich, but it was one of the birds I was thinking about. There are this the pigeons, but now the different ornamental pigeons, leave alone the normal white and gray pigeons. Then there's this other bird. Uh, why is the name disappearing? Okay, the name is disappearing for that bird. So all those, the ostrich, all these are classified as ornamental birds, and there are so many.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my goal, to have those ornamental birds. You keep them, and so I wanted to have a place where you can come and educate people about them, sell the
Yeah.
birds because you're breeding them, and
Mm-hmm.
also sell the eggs, the produce, the feathers, everything about those birds, you know.
Yeah.
So started doing that, but then it I realized I'm not going to go too far without having
Yeah.
all the skills and like the money, because I've said they're very
Yes.
expensive to buy and
Yeah.
also very expensive to
Mm,
make, because
mm,
different birds need different dynamics. And remember, they are birds, so they're very delicate.
yes.
So at that time, life started becoming really hard, and that is the time I remembered one time when I was in uni. doing my undergrad in in Uganda, one lady
Yeah.
came to do a talk when I was in second year. And when she was doing a talk, she was talking about how the opportunities of scholarship on all these opportunities are always online. So if you
Yeah.
sit on well with your computer, when other people are going to Google funny things online, for you, you
Yeah.
can go and Google scholarships and pursue those things, and you can get
Yeah.
very good opportunities. And then they said that in for her, she had gotten an IMF scholarship, came to the UK, and so she was talking about UK and in particular Leeds University, because she said in UK different universities specialize in different things. And
Yeah.
so she was like, if you're thinking about health courses, that is now so many years back, things could have changed now.
Yeah.
She was like, Leeds University could be one of the
Yeah.
universities you would consider. So
Yeah.
during this time now, when I'm really struggling, so my dad had already told me, if you don't mind to do a master's, I am willing to sponsor you.
Yeah.
But when my dad mentioned that, he did not say where he's willing to sponsor me.
Yeah.
And so I told myself I will not even ask where he's going to sponsor me from. So
Yes.
I decided I will not want to do my master's in Kenya.
Okay.
So I started doing my research for the UK.
Yeah.
Now, a little backstory again. In between 2008 and I
Yeah.
think 2009, I had tried to
Yeah.
go to the US because my brothers are there. I had tried to go and study in the US and was denied a visa 3 times.
Yeah.
So I was really frustrated, and I
Yeah.
knew the US was a no-go country because the
Yeah.
visa like hard to get. But
Yeah.
in my research, UK seemed to be a very easy country to get a visa, as I thought then.
Okay.
I don't know why I thought like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to go to a country where I will not be denied the visa because I did not want the shame of people knowing that I've tried to apply for a visa and I didn't get.
And
And I
it's
also
been
did not
denied.
want the shame
Mm-hmm.
of
Mm-hmm.
putting something in my head that I'm going to leave the country and I do not leave the country.
Yeah.
So to me, it was like the UK was a sure bet.
Okay.
So
Mm.
I did the application by myself. This lady had said,
Mm-hmm.
you can do it by yourself. You just need the internet. And at home we had Wi-Fi. So I sat down,
Mm-hmm.
went to the university. That time you didn't go through the UCAS, you would apply to the
Okay.
university directly. I went to the university directly, saw all the courses I wanted, saw the fee, started applying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the
Okay.
other thing I've not mentioned why I was looking at the UK, I did not want a place where I will go and be asked for an entry exam. So, for the example, in the US, you're asked for TOEFL or GMAT or something. In the
Yeah.
UK, because I already had an undergrad and my
Yeah.
course was taught in English, I did
Yeah.
not need to have something like IELTS or TOEFL or something else. So,
Yeah.
so, and then I did not want to pay a registration fee,
Yes.
because this registration fee would tell
Mm.
my dad that I'm trying to go and study outside.
Okay.
So my moves were very well calculated. So I went to Leeds University, applied, did everything, did all the correspondence. I only
Yeah.
informed my dad when I got an unconditional offer.
Okay. What
And
did you
when
say?
I'm informing my dad, it's
Yeah.
around March, and I've been given a
Yeah.
September admission.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember, it's not costing 1 shilling, it's costing
No,
millions
it's expensive.
of shillings.
Yeah. In
That
Kenya, it's a
time,
lot of money.
yes, that time financially, our family was struggling financially.
Okay.
So Kenyan education my dad would
Mm-hmm.
have afforded, but UK education, no. But I just
Mm-hmm.
decided to be bold. And because for me, I'm born again and I'm very prayerful, I just put it to God in prayer and just said, I'm going.
Yes.
Then that time I had a mentor in church who was really also prayerful and really believed in people. So
Yeah.
when at some point I had doubts that this would work, I just went to him and said, you know what? before I go table this thing to my dad, I just want to run this by you and talk to you
Mhm.
because I don't know how this will happen. He,
Okay.
now, unknown to me, he had also come to the UK and studied from the UK. He was
Okay.
a teen. Yes. So he told me, Jennifer,
Yeah.
there's nothing impossible with God.
Yes,
This one,
that's true.
we are putting it before God now and we leave it to
Mm.
God. Where the money will come from, if God
Yeah.
allows you to do this process up to this far, you will go to
Yeah.
study in the UK. And
Mm-hmm.
then he told me, be courageous, go tell your dad. So I went, I told my dad.
Okay.
When I broke the news to my dad, that's when my dad told me, you know what? My
Mm.
dad said a very powerful statement. He said, you may want 100 Kenya shillings and not get it.
Yeah.
You may be in need of 1 million and
Yeah.
you get it. So
Wow. That's
he said,
profound.
yes. So he said, we are in need of 19,000 uh, pounds for
Yeah.
your course.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my dad did not want to discourage me, but then he knew this is a big thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, long for the long and short of it, yeah, my dad worked out a lot of things, made a lot of adjustments, and
Yeah.
the opportunity. So he asked me, is the visa even a guarantee? Because the visa was, for many people, it is a visa that's always an issue.
Yeah.
But then the UK, what was helpful was it was a point-based visa. So you have to attain certain points. So
Mm.
finances, the English, getting the conditional offer, all those. So when your points add up to 100, then you
Yeah.
get the visa. Yeah. So
Oh.
that's how we did everything, made sure we ticked all the boxes of the requirements, put in the
Mm-hmm.
visa application. I got the visa. Yeah, and that's how I came to the UK.
Wow. That's quite a story. Very
Yeah.
inspirational.
Thank you.
Now, so now you've managed to get yourself over here, and was it the way you expected it to be when you got off the plane? What were your first thoughts when you got off the plane?
Hmm. So let me tell you, number one, it was cold. I was like, where did I bring myself to? You know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm.
People always tell you, oh, go online, research the country. So I knew UK is cold. But in my thinking was, if it is cold, you layer up.
Yeah.
So I bought some jumpers that
Yeah.
were not too heavy. So I knew if I have two of them and a
Yeah.
t-shirt or something underneath and a small sweater inside, I've layered up enough. Well,
Okay. So,
hey, coming here, reality, Then I know people we've been in Kenya, we have these shawls that we cover ourselves when it's cold. So I had
yes.
one I thought was like warm enough. And then when you
Yeah.
come in September, you don't really get to know that it can really be cold because you're sliding off summer. So you
Yeah.
don't really get to know. Hey,
Mm.
one time it's getting so cold. I would really be freezing when I come from school. And
Yeah.
this guy who had seen me on the lift several times, and one day he just told me, "Those clothes will not help you. You need
Yeah.
a raincoat and
Yeah.
and you need a warm jacket.
Yeah.
You really need that."
Mm-hmm.
That's when I realized, yes. But when I'm being
Mm.
told that, do I have the money to even buy that? No.
No.
I don't have the money. So one, I am because I would go to the shops and I say, oh, a jacket is 30 something pounds. I am
Yeah.
surviving on £5 a week. Where do I get 30 something pounds to buy a jacket? That was like luxury to me. So I
Yeah.
continued struggling until a
Mm.
Kenyan friend of mine called Gerard. Oh, I salute that guy. He saw me struggling, and one day he came, picked me up, took me to the shops, and bought me a jacket that was a life changer.
Wow.
So clearly, so you can see first I'm struggling with the weather,
Yeah.
struggle with the food, because I
Yes.
would cook
That's a
food,
big
it doesn't have taste. I would go to the shops,
yes.
buy a banana, it tastes awful. So I was like,
Doesn't taste the same. No.
I really struggled. Then I struggled academically. Now, let me tell you
Mm.
something. When I was in Uganda, I missed first class with a zero point 0.1. I got a 4.39.
Yeah.
Our first class in Uganda was a 4.4. So you can see I missed it by 0.1.
Yeah.
That tells you I was I'm a very intelligent person. So
Yes.
so
Yeah.
I and the course I was coming to do is epidemiology and biostatistics. It's not an easy course. So I
Yeah.
come to school and the lecturer start teaching. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my goodness. I am thinking, what did I get myself into? I understood
Okay.
all the English they spoke in class, but the
Yeah.
content, I could never relate it. So
No.
school was hard, hard.
Yeah.
So I hated UK with every bit of myself. And at some point, I
Wow.
told myself, I am not doing this. I am going back to Kenya.
Okay.
Kenya was hard, but I was like, this one, no. But then along the way, because
Mm-hmm.
it was really, then I do not have family here. When I came to the UK, I didn't know anybody.
No.
Not one soul did I know, you know.
No.
So it was
Mm.
really tough. I'm trying to relate with people. I go back to my room. It's so lonely. I can't.
Mm.
It was really stressful.
Yeah.
However, towards now the end of my studies and everything, at least I
Yeah.
had met a few Kenyans, but along
Mm-hmm.
I met my
Mm-hmm.
now husband. I think that's when UK started becoming a bit of something. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
it was not very easy.
Okay. So you've now come and you've completed your education. So you decided to stay in Leeds, obviously, because Leeds Uni is in Leeds.
Mm,
You decided to stay in Leeds. So
yes.
what was your process of going from student to now a normal person working, getting a job and all that, and the visa having to cope with now you're completely on your own. How was that journey? What were your challenges and how did you cope with it?
So I'd say
Hmm.
when the first time, the first month I was here, when
Yeah.
you come from Africa, sometimes the thing is when you land abroad, you are not going back to your home country unless to visit. You know that
Yeah. Yeah.
you
We've
have
all
parted
been there.
with that country unless you're going to visit.
Yeah.
So you're going to stay. You're coming to stay. So when people come, you come. When you go, people ask you, "Oh, are you going to stay?" Then they'll say, "Yeah, yeah. If I get opportunities, I will say." Then they would tell me,
Hmm.
"If you're planning to stay, you need to start working on your stay now."
Yeah.
Now, many people would say that,
Yeah.
but nobody would tell me what I needed to do to stay. You
No.
get?
Yeah.
And that was the frustrating bit because that question they're asking, and when you ask them how, people just give you that general statement of, oh, there are different ways. Just do your
Yeah.
research. And I'm thinking
But
like,
nobody's telling you
yeah,
anything concrete.
yes. So that is where it was very stressful because I wanted to stay, but I did not know how.
Hmm. Mm.
Now, for me, I research a lot and I'm very inquisitive.
Yeah.
So when I was researching on the Leeds University website, one
Yeah.
day I saw something called graduate entrepreneur. And
Okay.
then, and it seemed like it was a visa, but it was not very clear to me. So
Okay.
what I did, I booked, here you don't call and or go to the office and just walk in and do something.
No.
Sometimes you have to
No.
send an email. So
Yeah.
because there was an email there, I sent an
Hmm.
email. It was at the career center.
Yeah.
You are to go and see people in the career center for them to explain to me what this
Yeah.
graduate entrepreneur is all about.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
how it
Mm.
happened. went. When I went there, the person I found, he was a very amazing gentleman. So this
Okay.
gentleman told me, this is a visa that
Mm,
helps you to stay. It's a route to stay here in the UK. However, because I do not have all the details with it, I will
yeah.
put you directly uh, in touch with the person who is doing it. But by that
Okay.
time, I had known a little bit about you want to do a business and stuff like that. So I went to pitch my. I had gone. He asked me, "Do you have a business idea?" I told him, "Yes, I have two business ideas. One is mental
Mm,
health, and one is a salon business." So he told me, "Tell me
okay.
about the salon business." I told him, "Yeah, for us, we struggle to get people to do our hair, so I want to do people's hair, but it's not
Yeah.
me doing them. It's I will source and stuff like that." Then he told me, "Tell me about the mental health business." So I started talking about the mental health business. Then he told me, "Jennifer, can I stop you there?" He told me, "Please drop the salon business idea. That's not you.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
you." Then he told me, the minute you started talking about mental health,
Yeah.
your partner comes in. That's your line. Go with it. He told me, "I'll connect you to the
Mm,
person who deals with this. He will guide you." That's how I got a meeting with
mm,
Brian, who was
yeah.
now in charge of the program. And the minute we started talking with Brian, it was like, I don't know, like he was heaven sent. He was an angel
Mm,
who directed me,
mm,
pointed me in the right direction, and
mm,
told me what all that visa is required. But
mm-hmm.
you have to work on it, because you have to have
Okay.
a business plan. You have to do your research and all this.
Mm,
So that time I
analysis.
getting to discover that I am 1 month to my visa finishing.
Whoa. Okay.
Though now with this visa,
Yeah.
you go and apply for it from your home country, then you can come back to the country.
Okay.
So yeah, so I was like, I will go and then do this and then come back with the visa. So
Okay.
I went and talked to my friend about it, a Kenyan friend. When I talked to her about it, she told me, "Now, Jennifer, let me tell you something. Here, because everything is online, at least you've done your research, you've talked to the right person." She told me,
Yeah.
"Now, what you can do to put everything you've been told into perspective, go and get legal advice, because
Yes.
the nitty-gritties of visas here, some of
Mm,
them, the devil is in the details, but a
that's true.
solicitor is able to give you the details." So
Yeah.
she told me, just to book a consultation fee could cost you like 50 to
Mm,
100 pounds, just to go
yeah.
book one, to get the proper information so that you know what to do. And that's
Yeah.
what I did. I went, I saw a
Mm,
solicitor, and it is now the solicitor who put things into perspective, what this
yes.
visa would really require. And then
Mm,
that solicitor
mm,
told me, "I would not advise you to go and apply for it from home." And she
yes,
said,
because you're not coming back.
"Yes, it's not because you can't come back, but she
Mm,
told me it is because you have a research to do in between here."
okay.
And
Yeah.
she told me, "This information, you can't get it when you're back home."
No.
So she was like, "So it's better to do it while you're here."
Mm,
And then, but I was like, "But my visa is going to expire. What do I do?" So that time, because I was to graduate in July, and
yeah.
my visa was expiring in January. So we applied for an exemption on something on, I don't remember what it is called specifically, but what it means is that because you're going to be on a transition, you're looking for to move into another visa, you
Yeah.
ask for yes, leave on discretionary, to you ask for
Mm,
discretionary leave. So
yeah.
meaning you are having, so I was asking to stay in the country to wait for my graduation,
Yeah.
and I will support myself and all this. And then, well,
Mm,
this application is in place, when I
yeah.
have done everything to submit for my graduate entrepreneur visa, then
Yeah.
I can alter my circumstances and get into those
Yeah.
visas. So that is what I
Okay.
did. Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
Right. Talks about we've talked about Revitalize Minds.
Mm.
So now let's come to the ABCD Community Builder. Tell us a little bit about that. What's that all about?
So for you to understand the ABCD means asset-based community development.
Yeah.
Now, for you to understand this, I have to take you just a little back. So when I got into the visa, I started got onto the visa. It was endorsed that time by Leeds University.
Yeah.
Transitioned into
Mm,
another visa where I'm still under endorsement and was endorsed by
mhm.
NatWest. Now, what my business when I got into now the mental health world, what
Yeah.
my visa allowed me to do, I was only allowed to work within
Mhm.
whatever I have stated I will do. So mental health, and I was not allowed to work for any other company. You get.
Yes. Yeah.
So I couldn't. So my visa, I could only work for myself.
Yeah.
Now it was very difficult for me to bring in money as Revitalize Minds because one, I'm in mental health. Mental health, there's a lot of stigma, there are a lot of barriers
Mm,
when
mm,
you're a woman. And then for
yeah.
me, by the time I had gotten married, I had little children. So navigating all these things, it was very stressful and difficult.
Yeah.
So I was really struggling income wise. But good enough, I had my husband
Yeah.
was financially supporting us. So for me, I
Okay.
was concentrating on the business, but I was not moving as fast as I could because remember, I don't have nannies to take care of my child. I have to do everything.
No.
So I have to concentrate on the family, concentrate on a small kid, and concentrate on the business, which is not
Yes.
happening. So
Mm,
this time, along the business, because you can do everything that your business, whatever your visa is allowing you to do within the business. So I
yeah.
started introducing that time. I started offering only services, which was really hard. So I started introducing products into the mental health business, and one of
Okay.
the products I introduced were handmade cards. Because
Okay.
I
Yes.
said earlier, I've done a diploma in graphic design.
Yeah.
I'm very creative. So
Mm,
when I started making my handmade cards, these cards now started selling
yes.
slowly by slowly. But most
Mm-hmm.
of the time, they would sell among my friends. You cannot have
Yeah.
any business if it is just among your friends. That is not a business, it's a
No.
hobby.
I've tried it myself. It doesn't work.
So all I needed to do now was to
Yeah.
go out to the world.
Yeah.
And so because now I was being endorsed by NatWest, I had a mentor. So I
Mm-hmm.
got this mentor. His name is Rich. I always like to mention his name because he really he was like a light bulb moment. So when I had
Yeah.
my sessions with him, and I was
Yeah.
telling him about my struggles and what where I am at and what I am doing. And then that
Mm-hmm.
time I just come from COVID, and time has started opening up. So as we are opening up, Rich tells me, Jennifer, your power, because I was trying to really market myself online. He told me,
Yeah.
I don't think your strength is online. He told me, Jennifer, I think your strength is in person. So he told me, look for every in person opportunity and go to. And as you go to those in person opportunities, take your cards with you.
Yes.
That's how I started going out and networking. As I am
Okay.
networking on one time, I networked
Mm-hmm.
and I'm selling my cards. And then I got introduced to this lady who
Yeah.
a WhatsApp group that brings people in the community who share information.
Mm-hmm.
And as they're sharing information on this WhatsApp group, they share about Leeds 2023 Year of Culture, which was
Yeah.
last year.
Mm-hmm.
That is way back
Yes.
2022. So
Yeah.
when whatever was shared was like an opportunity for somebody to become a neighborhood host, because Leeds 2023 was looking for 33 neighborhood hosts who would help to bring a celebratory event in their wards. Now,
Okay.
the requirement of that neighborhood host meant that this person is a self-employed person. You're not going to be employed by Leeds
Yeah.
2023. So when I saw that opportunity, I knew
Mm.
in a world where I can do this. This is not an opportunity to be employed, so it suits my visa.
Yes.
So I was like, I will go for this opportunity. And because this
Mhm.
opportunity was also going to network you with bigger opportunities that you'd never have
Yes.
imagined.
Mm.
So I went for it. I promise you. I gave everything you'd think to get this opportunity. Like I prayed about it, I researched about it, I applied. You know how in your application you put everything because you do not want,
Every tiny little.
when you go for the interview, you outdo yourself. Because for me, this was a life and death opportunity because you can hear I'm
Mm.
struggling to get out. And
Yeah.
by God's grace and thank you to God, I got the opportunity. I became the neighborhood host. This opportunity was not paying a lot of money, but
No.
this opportunity was opening you up. Now, there's something I wanted to mention. In Africa and in Kenya in particular, you can
Yeah.
start a business today and tomorrow you're shining. Why? There are
Yes.
no proper systems of doing business. You can just figure yourself out somehow.
And just run with it. Yeah.
Exactly. In the UK, it's not the same.
No.
In the
No.
UK, to succeed in business, you have
Mm.
to have proper systems in place. You know, and so
You've got to tick so many boxes,
so many
dot
boxes.
so many I's, and cross so many T's before you can even go
Yes.
anywhere.
And depending on which industry you are in, if you're in mental
Mm.
health, for you to get funding or to get somebody even to pay for your services, there's a language you need to speak.
Yes.
And so all these years now, it was like a hit and miss. I try, this doesn't work. Okay, I go back to the drawing board now to keep on understanding. So by this time, I have had like now 3 or 4 years of hit and
Mm.
miss. So I'm
Yeah.
slowly coming to understand the system.
Hmm.
And that's why now I was getting myself into this opportunity. So now when
Yeah.
I got the opportunity, now it was like it got me to understand the systems deeper because they were training us and they were giving us training on the industry of how the industry of UK and of communities work. Remember, I'm in mental
Hmm.
health. So mental health, you will be dealing with people and communities. So it
Yes.
is through this that I started understanding the dynamics of when you go to speak to these people. This is how you need to speak to them for you
Yeah.
to be accepted and for them even to buy into your idea.
Yeah.
So that is what Leeds 2023 did. And then as I was in this opportunity, we had an
Mm.
anchor organization that acted like a mentor, and you had this
Okay.
person from the anchor
Mm.
organization. So the my anchor organization then was Touchstone, and my mentor was an ABCD builder for Touchstone, who up to date and up to now he's my boss right now, but was my mentor then, but a very good
Yeah.
friend. He really mentored me very well, and he mentored
Mm.
into understanding what ABCD is. So I said ABCD is asset-based community development.
Yeah.
Now, asset-based community development looks at communities not from the place of deficit, because most
Yeah.
of the organizations, they go to the community and look at the community. What is wrong with the community? What is the problem within this community that we can help
Mm.
fix?
Yeah.
ABCD not look at communities in that way. ABCD looks at communities and says, there's something good about this community. They have very
Yeah.
strong things that are working in this community. So, how can we elevate these things that are already
Yeah.
working? So, they
Yeah.
focus on what's strong rather than what's wrong. And that's how I
Mm.
got introduced into the ABCD world. But remember, I was
Mhm.
a neighborhood host. That role was a 15-month role.
Okay.
So when the opportunity, so we were supposed to do a celebratory, a big event that you bring the world together and everything. So for me, because
Mm.
I'm working with somebody who's teaching me the ABCD way of working, I
Mm.
used those principles and did my event. My
Okay.
event ended up being one of the signature events of Leeds 2023. And
Wow.
so after Leeds 2023 year of culture finished, I am back now without a job. At least that time I had a part-time role, but now I
Yeah.
am there. I do not have a job, and I'm still focusing on my business. So I
Yeah.
was getting these small opportunities. At least that time, things were looking up. But now I've finished 15 months of being very engaged, and now I am,
Yeah.
yeah, almost, yeah, it's now for me to use everything I learned to get myself the next opportunity. But because I had
Okay.
worked with my mentor very well, when an
Mm-hmm.
opportunity became available for Touchstone,
Mm-hmm.
he told me, Jennifer, you delivered a very good event, and I really liked how you worked. So, and
Mm.
this opportunity, apply for it and see how
Mm-hmm.
it goes.
Mm.
And that's how my introduction to ABCD came about. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's very interesting.
Thank
Now
you.
let's talk about your latest baby, Kikwetu Kenyan Community Group. What led you to start Kikwetu?
Oh, now that's when you say that, I even become a little bit emotional.
I can
So
see you've become very bright now. You're shining. You're
yes,
glowing.
oh, Kikwetu, yes. So now in my role of when I came now to become the ABCD builder in
Yeah.
Lincoln Green. So now with my role, remember I go to the community, I see
Yeah.
what is happening in the community, and I help
Mm-hmm.
uh, community groups to elevate by doing what they like to do. So if they need some funding, we have some small pots of funding that the community
Yeah.
can access, and
Yeah.
then if it is about signposting, I signpost the communities to the different things. So
Yeah.
clearly, those were the opportunities that working in this role brought for me.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened with that?
Yeah.
What happened with this now opportunity is, as I as I am as I am working, as I'm working now is within the ABCD world,
Yeah.
I realized we have so many groups in the community,
Yeah.
and these groups, they are community groups, so they are social groups, and they are accessing a lot of funding.
Yeah.
Yet we do not have an active Kenyan community on the ground. And
Yes.
that was like, how?
Yeah.
So I started
Yeah.
asking to be sure, like, clearly we don't have, and because I know I'm in several WhatsApp groups for
Yeah.
with Kenyans, but clearly we do not have one on the ground. And I
Yeah.
was like, no, no, I am, because
Mm.
remember, these opportunities, I am accessing them. Then I'm thinking, this other community are accessing them. Yet for Kenyans, we don't. I was like,
Yeah.
no, something
No.
needs to be done. So I started sharing my idea with several people, and
Yeah.
I started sharing. People are like getting excited. Oh, yes, yes. Oh, indeed, that's true. But
Yeah.
as much as you share something,
Yeah.
you're the one who is itching with the burden, because it is you who has discovered what gap there is. Because
Yeah.
it's so hard for you after you've shared your vision with somebody, or the gap, and somebody just
Mm.
takes it and starts running with it. Because remember, if it is something new, it
Yeah.
means it is land that you need to till and cultivate their thorns and
Yeah.
things. So before it comes up to be this community group that is very well formed, structured, and everything, you will have to do a lot of tilling. So
Yeah.
yeah, so because definitely nobody's going to run with it, then I decided, you know what, let me run with it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so that's how Kikwetu came to be. Shared the
Yeah.
vision with people who felt that they could carry this burden with me.
Mm.
And yeah, and that's how Kikwetu Kenyan Community Group for Leeds was birthed. Yes.
And I'll add on to that because I've lived in Leeds for 21 years. And for the longest time, I'm always complaining that in Leeds we have no Kenyan community event, whereas in London, summer, I think there's something going on every month within the various Kenyan groups within London. And I
Mm.
want to go to all of them, but going to London is not cheap. So I end up just staying here
Yeah,
and just watching the pictures and photos on WhatsApp groups. So I do remember hearing that, and I was thinking, wow, finally we found something.
finally,
And
yes.
finally, yeah, this is going to go somewhere. Now, I have
Mm.
another question for you, and brace yourself for this one. How do you
Okay.
balance being a leader in multiple roles, director, chairperson, and community organizer, while staying true to your mission?
Wow. Is there a balance? If
Mhm.
sometimes I say it's hard to say there's a balance because
Yeah.
sometimes one is gaining, one is losing, some like
Mm.
that. But I think one for me, before I do anything, I really seek God. I really pray about it. And I
Yeah.
do not take something until I feel that God has like given me the green light to go. Because
Hmm.
if He's given me the green light, He will give me the grace, He will enable me, He will bring me the right people. Because sometimes you could have the burden, but you have the wrong people helping you to carry that burden. So it's becoming even a heavier and a very cumbersome and tiresome
Yeah.
burden.
Hmm.
So number one, because God is really at the center, I feel He's
Yeah.
given me the right people who help
Yeah.
me. So one, I have a very supportive husband.
Yeah.
So that, because if you do not have a supportive partner, really, it's so hard to really move.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Yes, because as I've said before, when I did not even have an income, he was shelving all, and you know how UK bills can bring somebody down. My
It's
husband
hard. It's
had
hard.
bills on his shoulder,
Mm.
with
Mm.
pride, knowing that he's doing it for
Mm.
the family. So one, I have a very supportive husband. Then the
Yeah.
other thing I have, when I got into this country, remember I didn't know anybody. So I was very
Yeah.
intentional about the people I get to bring close and to learn from. So
Mm.
that support system has really also been very grounding for me. I have a very
Yeah.
supportive family in Kenya, my parents, and I have very supportive
Mm.
who really, really also help me and
Yeah.
support me.
Yeah.
But again, also, I am this person who does not settle on where you are. If I hit this target, I don't now feel I've reached, I've arrived. No. I
No,
want to
you
strive for
set a different one.
yes. So I keep on educating myself. I do a lot of research.
Mm. Mm.
I ask. I am never the person who is afraid to ask and ask the wrong question, because you hear I
Yeah.
tried this. Yeah, so I ask a lot of questions. I do a lot of research. So
Mhm.
reading, I listen a lot. I listen a lot.
Mhm.
I have attended networking events. Do you know how you attend a networking event and ask yourself, why am I really here?
Yeah.
Like
I have
clearly,
found myself there a few times.
but probably that opportunity was
Mm.
not the like to go to listen to that talk was not the main thing. But after the talk, you ended up talking to somebody who became a very amazing connection, and then you realize
Yeah.
actually I was here to get to connect to this one. So I have attended a lot
Mm.
of working opportunities. So sometimes I look at something and I say, oh, actually I need this, or
Mhm.
I've had this maybe like digital awareness. I sign up for here. Then I see a different organization doing something similar or the same. I will go and say, those ones might have delivered it differently. Let me go and see what else I can tap from here.
Yeah.
So those
Mm.
the other thing is I have embraced a lot of free things. In the UK, at least, we are privileged. Most of these
Yeah.
places where you get a lot of free resources. You know, they
Yeah.
could be in terms of things, they could be in terms of connections, and those
Yeah.
come handy. So those are the things that have helped me to balance the research, the understanding, the community, the support system.
Mm.
There's a lot of all these things coming together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm. Okay. We're nearly there.
Yeah.
Nearly. Not
Okay.
quite, but nearly there.
Nearly there.
So
Yeah.
nearly there. Yeah, I'm learning a lot from you. So
Oh, thank
what
you.
has been the most unexpected challenge in your journey so far, and what did you learn from it?
Unexpected journey.
Mm.
I could talk about two.
Okay.
One during in 2021, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I had some employees that I employed in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Had the government was giving something that was called uh what is it called again? Why is this thing?
A grant.
No, not you would get a grant, but you'd get okay, the name will come as I speak about it. So the government would pay people to work for you, and then so for you pay them, the government reimburses you. You pay them, they reimburse you. But these people,
I know the scheme because I used to do it myself.
yeah, it's called the Kickstart scheme.
Yeah, Kickstart.
Yes,
Yeah.
Kickstart scheme. So now with that
Mm.
Kickstart scheme, you get people,
Mm.
but these people had to be on benefits. Now,
Yes.
the mistake I did not research who, what kind of people are people on benefits. That
Yes,
almost
I'm
brought
laughing because I've been there. Mm.
this almost brought my business down.
Yeah.
The
They
reason
don't
being,
want to work.
they don't want to work. They are
No.
very entitled. And for me, I
Mm.
went all in with a clean heart because I want to. I feel like, oh, these are young people. I need to
Mm.
mentor them. I need to train them. You know,
Yeah.
I'm
Mm.
exposing my business to them. Whoa, that almost brought my business.
It's hard. I know because I did it myself. And they used to come drunk. And I mean, when I say drunk, I just don't just mean smelling of alcohol. Can barely walk in a straight line. One guy I'll never forget. He stunk to high heaven. He was wearing jogging pants that were, I think, somewhere down his knees. And I kid you not, he was smelling of weed. I think I was high on weed for a week myself, just on his smell alone.
Oh,
And oh, e- eventually, I decided not to go down that road, and instead I went to Thomas Danby College and did it that way. That's where I got people who really wanted to work because job center was not working at all.
hey, it was that one nearly ruined my
Yeah, that
business.
can bring it, that can close your business because they don't want to work. They'll be
They
coming
don't
because they've
work.
been told
And
if
remember,
they don't
anything you
work,
do with them,
they're
the
going to lose
challenge.
their benefits.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was bad. So
Mm,
so that was one of the challenges. The other
mm,
one is health. Since I came to the UK, health challenges. Whoa.
mm. Yeah.
I, for me to be alive today, I just thank God. I have had numerous health challenges,
Yeah.
and it's from nowhere, you know. Like one time, I had preeclampsia during pregnancy. I did struggle with it. I had it, but I did struggle with it.
Mm,
But after delivery,
mm.
oh, the post surgery like
Yeah.
complications. You have a young
Mm,
baby.
yeah.
You don't have any
You don't
support.
have a maid?
Yes, nobody to help you with the child, and your husband
Mm.
has to go back to work because if he doesn't go back to work, you will not eat. You will not pay your bills.
No food,
That
no build, no nothing.
you know. Then
Mm.
and another time, I just suddenly started having just chest issues, and before they figure it out, it was months into it. Like I would just get very bad attacks, like of pain.
Mm.
I discovered it's my gallbladder having issues. Yet this
Yeah.
gallbladder, it had been removed in Uganda. Then you're told you have a gallbladder. Like there was a lot of drama. I don't some so health issues. This
Yeah.
is where you get to a place and you appreciate life. You know,
Yeah.
So you can imagine you're struggling with as an entrepreneur. Now you add another layer of something that you cannot even function because your health is, oh. And then when you go out and because like when you're talking to people who their businesses are established, they don't understand why you're struggling. You're in a
No,
business that
they don't.
should be making money, you know, and then you
Mm,
want. So those have been my like lowest of lows. But
yeah.
again, during those lows of lows, they've been my biggest learnings.
Mm.
Uh,
You know
my
what they say? What doesn't kill you makes you
yeah,
stronger.
keeps you stronger.
Mm.
It makes you stronger. Yes, because yeah, that's why when I go for anything to do anything, I go with everything I got because if it is to lose, then I will still lose. So it's better I
Yeah.
give it all then. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Give it 100%.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Are there any key practices or routines that help you manage your mental and emotional well-being as a leader?
Yes. So
Mm.
if you're a Christian like me, prayer and just being grounded in the
Mm-hmm.
things of God, that one keeps me
Mm-hmm.
very grounded. And
Mm-hmm.
but there's something else is most of the times learn to listen, not to reply,
Mm-hmm.
to understand, you
Yeah.
know, because as I said, the system in Kenya works differently from here. And
Oh,
this system
the planets apart.
yes, if you don't understand it, you will never crack it. You see,
Mm, mm,
and
mm.
the people who you're meeting every day, they are helping you crack this system and to understand it very,
Yeah.
very well. But also the one thing I have, for me, I think that makes me and like makes my leadership very different is because
Mhm.
for me, I like to give things time. I give people
Yeah.
time, I give things time, you
Mm,
know.
mhm.
I'm not in this rush to make it today.
Yeah.
Because if you do not understand the process, any good thing takes process and process takes time. And you have to
Mm,
invest time with a lot of love and passion.
yeah.
Otherwise, you will not, because consistency cannot come if you're not loving what you do. You cannot be
No.
disciplined if you're not investing time and
Yeah.
and love bit of it. So for me, I
Mhm.
think that, and I am really true to myself. My if I say no, I mean no. If I say
Mm.
yes, there are people who you'll find they will say yes
Yeah.
just because they do not want to this month to go without a paycheck. But for
Mhm.
me, I will not say yes just to have a paycheck and have something haunting me in my conscience. For me,
Yeah.
I always keep my word. And yeah, I think if leaders are able to be keep to their word,
Yeah.
and yes, that for me, I think really stands out in leadership.
Okay. And that's really good. That's a really good thing, way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Now here's a very good one about your biggest passion.
Mm.
Where do you see Kikwetu Kenyan Community Group in the future, and how do you hope it will continue to grow?
Oh, Kikwetu, for me, I want Kikwetu to outlive me and outlive us
Mm.
because I want, the way I compare Kikwetu with the way they say I had the list 2023. My event was one of the signature events.
Yeah.
Now, when I was planning for that event, I was
Mm.
not planning for it to be the signature event. I was
No.
planning to enjoy for the people for people to come and celebrate culture, who they are,
Mm.
everything. But
Yeah.
as I was doing this, then that's how it ended up in the signature event because I
Mm.
did not leave. I paid care attention to detail and to what people wanted. Now with Kikwetu, it's the same way. Kenyans have
Mm.
a lot. We celebrate Jamhuri Day. We dance to our Mugithi,
Oh,
Zilizopendwa,
yes.
you know.
Ohangala and
Yes,
Ohangala.
Ohangala, you know. We are these people, Kanungo, Kanungo. We love our staff.
No,
We
the
energetic.
music, our music and our food.
We love our people. We love our cultures.
Mm,
This is what I
mm,
want Kikwetu to bring. I want to go
yeah,
one day and see people dance in their sisal skirts and do this traditional dance. I want to see the children come and speak Swahili with pride. I want,
yes.
I want a Kenyan mayor, stand on a podium and say,
Mm,
I got to love being a Kenyan, and I said I will represent Kenya in whichever
mm,
shade or form, and do it with pride and do it well. So
mm,
this is what I want to see from Kikwet. I just want when people turn around and they hear there's a community group that is really changing the dynamics of Leeds. Kikwetu
yeah,
is does not fail to be mentioned. Yeah,
and it
I
will,
want it to
and it
us.
will,
Yes.
it will, it
Yeah.
will. And what legacy do you hope to leave behind for the communities that you're working with?
You blipped a little. I didn't get that. Start
All
again.
right. What
Mm.
what legacy do you hope to leave behind for the communities that you're working with?
The legacy I want to leave. I want to leave a legacy of knowing that people are valued. Number
Yeah.
one, and
Mhm.
the way the ABCD focus is on what's strong rather than what's wrong. So when I look at a person who is an asylum seeker, I do not want
Yeah.
to see them as a person who is coming to the UK because
Yeah.
they they are people that do not have education. No, I
Mhm.
want to look at
Mm.
this person as a person that is a good weaver. They
Yeah.
are gifted as carpenters. They are gifted
Mm.
as poets. I want to see the richness they bring. They may not
Yeah.
speak English like the Englishman, but so long
Yeah.
as they're communicating, I want to hear them speak in their ethnic language and be very proud because they're communicating to the people they ought to be communicating with. You know,
Yeah.
those are
Mm.
some of the things that I want to see. I want to look at people and see them as valuable, make them
Yeah.
feel valued, and
Mm.
not walk in that value.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. That's
Mm.
good.
Thank you.
Okay. And what advice would you give to others who want to make a difference but feel they're hesitant to start?
Do it afraid. Do it afraid. I don't
Mhm.
think anybody who's ever achieved something big in life, that
Mhm.
thing one time was very scary. It's
Mm.
very scary. Look at us now doing something like Kikwetu. It's scary knowing that you will be out there. People might
Mm.
know your home address. Almost everybody might know your telephone number and everything. You never know what could go wrong, but do it anyway, because why do you think the odds could always be negative? The odds could be positive. They could work and
Yeah.
favor. So do it afraid, because if you're looking to be a change maker, an influencer, a person who is going to stand from the crowd and stand
Mm.
tall,
Mhm.
have to speak to your fears and rise
Yeah.
above them. Yeah.
Okay. I'll add on to that to something my late dad used to say.
Mm.
If what you're doing does not scare you, it's
Yeah.
not big enough.
It's not big enough. True.
You
True.
need to make it big. You
Yeah.
need to be scared,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
lastly, we've just come to the end. So, what is your parting shot?
Oh, my parting shot is life
Hmm.
is life is very interesting and beautiful. And sometimes how I look at life is like the balls we have to juggle, you
Yeah.
know.
Hmm.
We always have different seasons and different opportunities. And in all these seasons, you're juggling different balls. To
Yeah.
be honest, as you're juggling these balls, they are
Hmm.
not always up in the air all the time.
Yeah.
One time it's up in the air, one time it is down.
Yeah.
Allow those seasons to flow naturally, and do
Mm-hmm.
not give yourself the pressure to feel like because the ball is coming down, it's like
Yeah.
you're doing badly. Remind
Mm-hmm.
yourself there are other balls that are still up in the air, and it is
Mm-hmm.
those motions that you and that rhythm that we need to continue to flow with, because in life there will never be a season where you're only staying in your high.
Yeah.
A season will come, and
Mm-hmm.
another season that is maybe on a plateau level, like it's on a flat, there's nothing
Yeah.
much happening. Sometimes the growth is not as fast as we want it to be. Those
Mm-hmm.
seasons are there. All
Mm-hmm.
you need to do not allow those balls to fall down onto the
Yeah.
ground. And falling onto the ground means is do not let them crush you to the point that you can't lift yourself up,
Yeah.
because it's a bad place to be. But if it
Yeah.
is a system where you're not really moving as fast, fine, you
Mm-hmm.
can away.
Mm-hmm.
You can let something go. If it is something that is draining you, please let go and pick something up that feeds you and moves you, but do not allow it
Mm-hmm.
to the grave, because you're holding on to something that you know is
Yeah.
taking away from you. This life
Mm.
is to be enjoyed, and we can only enjoy it if
Mm.
we are healthy, safe,
Yes. Yes.
sober, and
Yeah.
intentional. Yeah,
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
that's good. I
Thank you.
think I've enjoyed that. And I believe our viewers are going to enjoy this because this is going to be on YouTube for many, many, many years to come.
Yeah,
And for those of you who are watching, thank you for tuning in.
yeah.
And see you in 3 weeks with another one. And I shall let you know what the next topic is going to be and who the guest is going to be. So for now, it's adios.
Thank you so much, Jess, for having me. God
You're
bless.
welcome. Thank you.
Bye.
God bless. Bye bye.